Peace and blessings, and welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. This is Karez speaking, and we thank you for your continued support and listening. This episode is brought to you by Transparent Credit Repair, the superheroes of the financial literacy and credit repair world. Stimulus checks are not the only way to bring income into your household. By cleaning your credit and getting out of debt, you ensure yourself money, future money to come and take care of your household. If you're interested, please call 862-250-5122. And you can also visit the website, www.transparentcreditrepair.com. Tell them Heritage Hip Hop sent you and get treated with something very special by inquiring about their business. This episode, we go back overseas to Switzerland and we meet Melyz, a woman with a different voice and a dark sound. Dark pop is what she calls it. And right now it's turning some heads and got some people dancing and bopping overseas. We bring her to the States and we want to show you how not only dope she is, but how thoughtful and mind-provoking she is as well. So make sure you stay tuned. I will come back with the rest of my commentary and some important points to highlight. Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Karez from Heritage Hip Hop, and I got one of my favorite new artists on the line. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, so I'm Melyz, a singer-songwriter from Switzerland, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, first we're going to give a shout out to Fatty's Place, because Fatty's Place helped me find you, and that's my partner, and he knows I love music. And one thing I love about music is expression. And I want to talk to you about expression because I love the way I feel when I listen and experience your music. What made you want to sing?
Well, it happened when I was 7 years old, around that time. That was the first time I stepped on a stage to perform. It was for a charity event. And I just remember the feeling of sharing that very special connection between me and all the people listening. And I remember thinking, well, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Well, life is wonderful when we have song. Even in the Bible, it says that whenever King Solomon was in a rage, David would play music to soothe the savage beast that was in his emotions. When you sing, the emotions that you give are more refreshing than relaxing.
Wow, thank you.
Oh, no problem. What type of music did you want to create as you started your journey into singing?
I remember always wanting to stay authentic to who I am and what I was talking about. So for me, that is something extremely important when I write my songs. But more than this, I've always been I've always felt like I was I never really fitted in, and all the artists that I loved when I was growing up, I didn't really feel like they were embodying that, the misfits. And so for me, it was very important to convey that message through my song, just for other people that are feeling like I was feeling back in the days, for them to know that they are heard and they're not alone. So yeah, for me it was very important to sort of like share that feeling.
You know what's interesting? And I wonder if somebody ever told you this. It is the misfit culture that has always propelled entertainment in society forward. So there's different types of misfits. There's the people who don't fit in, so they form their own crowd. And then there's people who don't fit in because society tells them they don't fit in. Which one do you think you represent the most?
I don't know. That's a tough question. I feel like it's a little bit of both. Because I know when I was a kid, when I was growing up, I sort of knew from like a very early stage that I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to sing. I wanted to perform, and that sort of automatically made me feel marginalized in a way, because obviously when you say that to people, especially when you're a kid, they're like, you know, you'll find something else to do with your life afterwards.
Right.
And when you keep at it, and when you keep telling people, oh, I want to be an artist, like I want to be a singer, this is the career that I want, they sort of like dismiss that. They're like, that's not a real job. You're gonna, you know, keep that as a hobby, but it's not a real job. So yeah, I'd say a bit of both, because as a person, I've always been, as a kid, I've always been really shy and really introverted. So yeah, definitely a bit of both.
See, and that's the crime when it comes to the music genre and the industry, is that they'll take the next pretty face or they'll take the next hot trend. And I'm not saying that you're not pretty because you're gorgeous. It's
Thank
not
you.
that, but they'll take the look and the facade of things and not appreciate the depth of things. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I feel like more and more people are wanting something more authentic,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just a facade, like you say.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's I don't know if it's a good thing or a terrible thing, but I feel like more and more it's not just about the music, it's about everything else, like the story, the background, the concept. So it's not just about the music or the image. I think it's like a whole sort of universe behind the music side of things. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
You know what? You just sparked a question in me that I like to ask singers, and because you said you represent the misfit culture, see, I'm older than you, so when it comes to misfit culture, that's what ran the MTV generation. I was a kid during that generation, so you had the mainstream and you had the misfits, who were like the punk rock, Pat Benatar's, the Janet Jackson controlled pop. You had that thing, and those misfits were the people who said, I have a damn voice. Listen to my music.
Mhm.
How do you keep that attitude alive by making music that's sensual yet daring at the same time?
Um, Thank you for this. But I think it's just a question of being true to who you are and what you want, like what you stand for, and how you want to be perceived. It's not just about, oh, what's trending and what people would love to listen. It's just, for me, it's always been, I want to do something that I like first, and then if people can relate, that's like a major bonus. But I think it's more a question of, yeah, being real, being true in what you do, in your music, in your lyrics, in how, like, in your delivery of the song. It's just a question of authenticity for me anyway.
So let's talk about delivery, because one thing about your voice, you remind me of the cool superhero.
Oh wow.
Like for this generation, that's the Teen Titans. Teen Titans Go, that generation, and they had Raven. And while Starfire was the happy chick who was powerful, Raven was the strong chick who had her emotions in check. How do you check your emotion to match the song that you create?
um That's a very interesting yet tricky question, because um, I'm still, no matter what uh, I've gone through in life and all the musical experiences, I still consider myself as sort of introverted in a way. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not easy for me to like, um, how do you say that? Like put my emotions in the forefront and
Yeah,
deal
you're not
with them.
extroverted.
Yeah. So there's a for me there's a fine line between staying true, saying how, like, conveying the emotions that I want to convey, but at the same time I'm very aware of like not revealing too much, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. So I'm still trying to work through this.
Okay, you're growing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
That's that's the most important thing an artist does, because when somebody puts you in a box, you can't grow anymore. You're defined.
True, true.
And I want to go back to 2019. because the song Never Be Yours
Yeah.
was one that really hit me like, her voice is bigger than what she's letting on. What does that song Never Be Yours mean to you? And how did it show your range?
Well, the story behind the song is I was I realized that, I wrote it in 2018, and I realized that, as female, we were not, I don't want to come across as like too feminist or anything, but
Just speak
I
your
realized
truth.
that we
It
didn't
doesn't
have,
matter. Speak
I
your
didn't,
truth.
sorry.
Is it just speak your truth? It's all good.
Yeah, I realized that we didn't have not a lot of control, but like we would judge regarding everything in our lives, whether it's our body, how we dress, how we talk, what we do, who we sleep with, who we're dating, and there was such a huge stigma around it. And I thought, we are in 2018, and it's still happening, and that's not on. So Never Be Yours is just, I don't want to say like a FU song, but
Mhm.
it's more like, it's my body and I do whatever I want with it, and you have no right to judge this. So that was sort of like the idea behind the song.
Yeah, see, that's the one thing about womanhood I could never, ever, ever give y'all credit enough for. Because as a woman, you are the gateway between the spirit world to the natural world. Women give birth to creation and babies. They also solidify the things that men fight for. That's why on the board, the queen is the most powerful piece, because she dictates how the kingdom is ran, while the man is the authority that looks over it. The
Mm-hmm.
queen actually runs it. Music is the same way, because men will dress and play music to enchant somebody that they feel.
Mm-hmm.
But when they find an artist that enchants them, it's hard to turn the music off, because that is your connection between understanding and relatability. As a misfit, how do people relate to you that's not from that world?
I'm not sure I understood the question. I'm sorry.
Well, from what you represent and
Mm-hmm.
what you sing about, there's people who may be from that life who could understand, because you represent the misfits. What about those people that's not misfits? How do you relate to them? How does your music help them understand?
Um, I Well, for that particular subject, I don't think it's a question of being or feeling like a misfit.
Mhm.
I think as women, we've all experienced those annoying situations, to say the least, where we've been judged for every single thing that we've done or said. So I think it's a universal sort of issue. It's not a question of if you feel like you're marginalized or not.
Right.
Um, and I, I don't want to say like I labeled myself as like a misfit and trying to get into that movement, but it's just how I felt, and an emotion and a feeling that I wanted to share. It just so happened to be misfit, but I don't want to label. I don't like labels.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
it's just if people can relate to it, whether they've ever felt like a misfit or not. Um, for me, that's secondary. It's just, do you relate, and can this help you feel, you know, not so alone?
Yeah. I mean, in American culture, what we consider the misfit is considered the outsider.
Hmm.
And that's American culture at its core, because America is divided into the haves, the have-nots, and then that subdivided culture, as in the cool, the uncool, the misfit, the jock, the athlete, the nerd, the blurred, and all these other things.
Hmm.
So I keep talking about the misfit, because I want people to understand, no matter what you are labeled or whatever you may label yourself as, the main thing is you are. not what people say you are, but you are whatever you call yourself. And no matter
Exactly.
what you're defined as, you will always and can always be great, no matter what those things or circumstances may be.
That's so true. That's really true.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying, when I say like I don't like labels, because I think you can sometimes feel like you don't belong
Mm-hmm.
in certain situations, and others you feel like, oh, you're sort of like in the cool sort of group, if that makes sense. So
Mm-hmm.
it depends on how you feel in the moment, and also like the situation, because it can change in my
Immediately.
view of things.
Yes.
It's like you said, it's a question of like where you are, um in like your emotional state, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. And the song "Hanging On," which is like your most popular song in the States, kind of goes
Wow.
to where we're going in this conversation. Tell me about the song "Hanging On."
Hanging On was more, it was, I wrote it based on like a personal um experience in relationships,
Mm-hmm.
when you're with someone but you don't really know where it's going, and that person is like, one day he's giving you the cold shoulder, and then the next day he's like really into it. So yeah, Hanging On was more like a relationship ish sort of song.
Yeah, and everybody, see, that's what's going on right now in COVID-19 coronavirus world. Everybody's so distant that now people are longing for connections, and I bet you your ex, if you have an ex, or if you're not with nobody, I bet you they're missing the hell out of you right now. But
But I
then,
think, yeah,
hmm,
the more, uh, I would say, what we didn't expect from that pandemic
hmm,
is just that we've now realized the most important things that we actually missed, that we didn't care at the time, especially that, that human connection, going out, seeing other people, like the little things, seeing your family, calling the people that you love. um, we take it for granted, and I think that pandemic, as horrible as it is, and all the terrible results of that, it's sort of like puts in light the important stuff that we've neglected and taken for granted for so long.
yeah. I mean, the one thing that I can appreciate about the pandemic is I actually got to sit down and think. And I think too much, to be real with you. So I was able to play more music and actually go through the emotion of music and the purpose of music. And that's what made your music so wonderful to me, because I was actually able to feel something different that I'm not used to, you
Oh,
know?
thank you very much.
Oh, no doubt. I want to talk about your style of music though, because we're called heritage hip hop, but like I tell everybody else, hip hop is not a music, it's a culture.
Mhm.
Rap is what you do, hip hop is what you live. And part of hip hop that I love the most is expression. On the Don't Tell Us album cover, you have a half mask on. What
Yep.
does that mask represent?
Um, I wanted to put in like the duality of what I was about and what I wanted to talk about in that EP.
Mm-hmm.
So it's half in the shadows and like half in glitters. So the glam, the glitter, sort of in the pop world, and the dark side was more like the misfit sort of uh, movement. I don't know how to call it.
Yeah,
Um,
you was representing the outsiders. I got you.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's also in 2015 I got to do something that was very sort of, I'm not going to say like glam, but it was, and I'm not going to say fake either,
Mm-hmm.
but it was, I didn't feel like it was very authentic. I took part in at the in the Eurovision Song Contest representing Switzerland,
Mm-hmm.
and for me that was an incredible experience, but I didn't feel like it was authentic enough for me, in everything from from the music to like the stage performances, I didn't feel like there was a real connection to who I was and what I wanted to share with people. And so in that EP, Don't Tell on Us, I wanted to have that. And it was like a darker side of the artistry that I didn't really share at that time. And I wanted to do that with people that listen to the music. So I thought that on the album cover, I wanted to portray those two elements that are who I am, really.
Mm. So who is Melyz from Don't Tell on Us to Melyz on the cover of the Don't? Let me get the right context. Don't Tell, the extended version, extended mix,
Mhm.
where you're looking over your shoulder and your shoulder's golden and you have a crown on, a sun crown at that.
um it was so that was a picture taken from the music video for the song Don't Tell,
Mm-hmm.
where there is that sort of like glam side of things with the glitter and everything, but with the makeup is very like in your face, very it's not subtle, it's very dark, and I'm purposefully not looking at the camera to give that sort of like dark vibe energy. I don't know if that came across at all or not, but yeah, it was still those two elements, but probably more subtle.
Okay. Well, as an artist, your art speaks for itself, but also the packaging speaks as well. Because, like I said, if you don't relate or people don't understand, they don't know how to take you, and that's the biggest thing I think a lot of artists don't get, is that unfortunately the things that sell the most are controversy and sex appeal.
Yeah.
And it's the people who appreciate art the most that look deep into it and go, okay, I want to know what that's about.
Hmm.
When I listen to your music, what what drew me into it a little bit is your music selection. And shout out to Chappelle, because Chappelle does your music. What brought y'all two together?
What, sorry?
How did you and Chappelle hook up to do music together?
um I was recommended by a friend that we have in common. I told that friend that I wanted to go more like down the electro pop route, and he advised me to contact Stefan Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
And we met. I made him listen to a couple of my demo songs, and I listened to a few of his beats, and we decided to collaborate. And yeah, I haven't I'm not regretting that choice. We have other music that we're working on at the moment that are going towards that sort of genre as well.
I can't wait to hear your album, because the single Don't Tell is a classic.
Wow, thank you. Actually, on that EP, I worked with another producer. So it was Stefan Chappelle and Eric Anderson,
Uh-huh.
who I worked with. And Eric Anderson is the one who made the beat for Don't Tell.
That's a classic. But see, the thing that bothers me about some people is when they make good music and they make that one good song, they can't do it again. But you came out with Bad Together and you elevated yet once again.
Oh, wow.
How
Thank you.
oh no, dog, how does Bad Together work? Because I really like that song. Like, I dig that a lot.
Thank you. I guess I sort of delve deeper into that dark side of my music.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bad Together, it talks about what you could call toxic relationships, you know, when you're so into it, like there's too much passion for it to be healthy, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. So you want to be with that person, but when you're together, it's hell, and everything goes crazy. But then when you're not together, you crave that connection, if that makes sense. So it's sort of really toxic, and this is what Bad Together is about. And I wanted, in terms of the music and the production, I wanted it to match that sort of emotional craziness of the song. So I wanted to be very like very electro, but at the same time I wanted to keep that sort of like sensual beat atmosphere to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that you like it, because it was a little risk. I was like, I'm not sure if people are gonna dig it, because it sounds a bit different from Don't Tell or Hanging On, but
It is. It is. But you know what? The thing about art, like I said, I'm a connoisseur of art. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the type of person that's going to look at the trees and be like, oh, it's a beautiful forest. I'm looking at a tree like I say, it's a tree. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate things for what it is. And Bad Together to me sounds like it should be on more than the radio. It should be on television or a movie.
oh
Like
wow.
I like it like that, because it's what I call a tone changer. You know? It's like the kind of song that if you heard walking into a room, whoa. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome. But that's the type of music that outside of the hip hop genre I like, because I don't really like singers, because I don't think most people who in the industry that try to sing can really sing. I think they're nasal, or they're using something to harp their voice up.
All right.
With you, it seems like you found your pocket, and now you could run that race or marathon the way you want instead of fitting into the industry. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Um, it's thank you for that. But for me, it's more, like I said, it's more about the feeling when you're singing the song, rather than how great your voice is, or the high notes that you can hit. It's more than just showing off your vocal abilities and techniques. It's more about the feeling and the sensation that you get when you listen to a song. For me personally, this is more important than just like showcasing your vocal abilities.
Exactly. Because your vocal ability can only get you so far. It's your creativity that takes you to the next level. Um, you see, I'm kind of at a loss for words because of what you said the song is about and how you've come from one thing to this part of your career. Because that's called a pivot. You were able to plant your foot in the ground and change direction, and it worked.
Yeah. I'm so glad. So far it's been working, so I'm really happy about that. um but like I said, I don't want to come across as the girl who's gonna like chew on that same bone. But for me, authenticity is so important, because there are a lot of music out there that I listen to, and I feel like they're, like I said, they're showcasing their vocal abilities, and that's amazing. But it doesn't, for me personally anyway, it doesn't really resonate. And I was like, I want to be able to do that.
Right. So my question to you then is, by understanding the different sides, we'll just say the light and the dark, just for the sake of this conversation.
Hmm.
As a singer, what song do you think carries the most weight with the audience? The song of joy or the song of pain?
Well, I think definitely the Song of Pain, because there's a palette of different emotions in pain, and we've all experienced this to a certain level. Um, and no matter what the situation and the emotional state you're in, you will always understand pain. Rather, I mean, compared to like a joyful song, you can get it, but if you're not in the right frame of mind, you might not relate to it, if that makes sense.
I do, because pain is the ultimate truth. Like,
Hmm.
everybody doesn't break a bone, but everybody knows what it's like not to hear something they don't like. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, true.
and may not everybody may not feel lost the same way, but everybody knows what it's like to find somebody beautiful or infatuating, and to know that they may not be interested, and that letdown or that lack of connection everybody has felt at some time in their life.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. And I think we all understand the fear of being or feeling rejected in any sort of situations, whether it's in a relationship or, professionally or whatever. I think we all understand this. So this is why love songs works the best because we've all experienced that different palette of emotions. But more generally, like you said, pain there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, pain is more universal than love because there's people who can love someone but not be in love. But
Yeah,
then there's people who feel hurt. And I never heard somebody like, I'm in hurt. Like they're in love. It's like I'm hurt. And,
yeah,
and and when you work through that emotion, that's where you find the depth and the range of the person's understanding of life. And that's why your music is dope, because you give an understanding to where some people may not understand it, but their relatability to it can help them want to come out of something that they're going through.
yeah. Well, thank you for that.
Hey, I just listen to your music and I'll tell you what I get out of it. So, so before we close out our interview, please, I would like for you to give everybody your social media and how they can support you and follow you just the same way.
Sure. Well, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, it's at Melyz official. So Melyz, Melyz official. And on Spotify, it's just Melyz. So if you want to hear it, or if you want to support, then you can go and have a listen on Spotify and maybe give us a little follow if you dig it.
Well, to everybody out there, heritage hip hop is not streaming culture. We do not believe in streams. If you like the music, listen and you listen to it and you're streaming it, great. But Melyz is an artist. So if this is a song or someone that you love, take $1 out and buy the single on whatever music platform it is. And if you like it even more, purchase the album, because the money that you spend not only guarantees you more music from this capable and great artist, it also helps support her to know that your love is real and she can do more things and give you more music that you'll love. All right?
Oh, thank you for that.
So
But yes, that would be grand.
that's the way we're moving, because I heard some music for this interview, and now getting to hear you and get the just your personality, I'm gonna actually purchase the music. We like to keep our money where our mouth. We put our money where our mouth is on Heritage Hip Hop. We don't talk it in. It's whatever. We actually support.
Oh, well, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
So just to be fair, you are always welcome to Heritage Hip Hop. Whenever your project does drop, you could come back and we could do a full interview about your project. And we're gonna expose your music to some people, and I want to expose you to another producer. Not saying yours aren't great, because your sound is wonderful. I mean, it's people who enjoy you, and I know people who love the art of music and they like to build and create music themselves. So I just want to support you the best way possible. And whenever you come out and you drop, you have a platform that you can speak on, and we'll support you and celebrate you. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this.
Now let's go into our rapid fire questions. Are you ready for that?
Oh gosh. Okay.
So rapid fire questions are not yes no answers. Okay.
Sorry.
Right.
Say that again.
They're not yes no questions. I don't ask yes no questions in rapid fire. The rapid fire questions show your depth. So if you do interviews where people ask you about reality TV, who's sexy, or what you like to eat, I don't care. That's not what we're interviewing you for. What I want to ask you questions about is basically who you are in your mind, so that people could connect to you even further. Okay.
Okay.
So here we go. Here's the first question. I love the picture of you and your mom on your Instagram.
All right.
And having a family that stands with you during your journey in life is very important. How has mom supported you and made you a better artist than just being one that performs?
Oh, my mom is everything. Like, she's been there from day one. She's been supporting me. She's always believed in me. And I feel so incredibly lucky to have parents that didn't diss what I wanted to do. So when I came up with that career choice, they didn't shut me down. They were like, okay, cool, we're gonna help you. First you get your A levels, and then you can do whatever, and we're gonna be there, we're gonna support you. And they have put their money where their mouths were. So I'm incredibly grateful to have a very loving and supporting family behind me, because if it weren't for them, I probably wouldn't have had the strength to carry on.
Well, shout out to mom. Mom, you made a great young lady, and you have a daughter that's going to change the world. So salute to mom. All right.
Definitely.
The next question I ask is, if there was a song that personifies you and you did not make it, what song talks about your life?
Oh, wow. There are quite a few. I like at the top of my head right now, I would probably say Survivor by Destiny's Child.
Oh,
Um, because obviously being in the music, I mean, you know this, obviously. Being in the music industry is so difficult, and trying to make a career out of it is incredibly difficult. And there's a lot of setbacks. There's a lot of like doors shut in your face. It requires a lot of perseverance, and powering through. Oh gosh.
yeah.
To my expression. It's a
Mhm.
very complicated one to say for foreign people, but yeah, there's a lot of that going on. And yeah, the fact that I managed with incredible people around me, that I managed to get things done no matter the situation and circumstances. Yeah, I feel like Survivor would be like my song at the moment.
That's dope. Okay, that's great. I like that answer. See, the thing that bothers me about the music industry is that you can be seen and not heard, and then you can be heard and not listened to. How do you know when you connect to somebody who listens and hears you?
For me is when people reach out and they're like, you know what, I was going through a tough time and I found your music and I really connected. For me, this is worth so much more than anything else, really, because it means that they truly connected to my song and like the feeling that I wanted to convey. So yeah, for people to reach out and tell me things like that, it's better than like getting playlisted on Spotify. I mean, that helps, but for me means that there's a real connection.
Facts. I like that answer. Um, One of the videos I seen of you that impressed me the most was your live performance. How do you connect with your audience when you're on the stage?
Well, to tell you the honest truth, when I'm about to step on stage, I'm always really nervous. It At one point in my life, it got to a point where I was on the verge of like crying my eyes out before going on stage because I was so nervous. But then when I step onto the stage, I feel like I'm in that very um, particular, like specific sort of bubble where I'm I'm sharing everything. All the emotions are real. They're authentic. They're raw.
So, where would you like to hear your music played the most?
You mean in terms of?
Everywhere, anywhere.
um I don't know. That's a tricky question. I want to say everywhere.
Everywhere. Hey, that's a great answer. So I want to ask you this. What is it going to take for me to buy a video game and hear your music on a video game?
That would be awesome. I would
What?
love to. I would love to have my music on video games, like especially the ones where you like not the ones that you go on a quest, but like you have to fight and all that.
Yeah,
It's like it would fit the mood.
I think so. I mean, like I said, your pivot to the direction you are now is like is awe striking. You ever saw the movie Blade, the Marvel comic vampire movie?
No, I was meant to see it, but I didn't have the chance.
So Blade had techno music in it, right?
Okay.
And the vampires had blood parties where they would dance.
Okay.
In Blade, whenever the techno music played, it was like, oh shoot, they're about to fight or something's going to happen, right?
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think your music has that type of power, not to make people fight, but to set the tone. It's a tone changer, not just a mood mover, you know?
Thanks.
Oh, no doubt.
Well, to be honest, if my music could be featured in films like that, I think it would be, especially Bad Together, I think it would be like the sort of music where, when you see the main character, like the hero, with like flames in the background.
Yeah, that'd be hot. You want to be a superhero. Okay.
Well, that would be awesome. If that happened, that would be completely awesome.
Okay. I have 3 more questions to ask you, and then we're going to finish our interview, okay?
Okay.
The first question is, what do you want to inspire in the next generation?
It's a good question. I'd say empowerment. Knowing your worth and knowing that you can achieve anything that you set your mind to. I think this is a sort of legacy that I would love to leave through my music, through my artistry.
Word. Save that answer because that's going to be part of the last question, which is after this current question right here, okay?
Okay.
Most people make music to express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you have something special through the impact of your music. What artist impacted you the most and made you want to sing more in your life?
You mean in general, or like recently?
You can answer it any way you want.
Well, when I was really young, I was inspired by well, that would be vocally, but like I was inspired by artists like Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, like the big voices. But they were all like sort of female singers with like a great personality. And then I got massively inspired by Beyonce, because she's got everything. I'm gonna sound like a massive fan, but like she's got the looks, she's got the attitude, she's got the right mindset. She's such a hard worker, and I love her music. I love the messages behind her music, and in terms of performer, she's incredible. So yeah, she's inspired me because she represented sort of like a minority, meaning Black American, female, like everything that at the time I'd say was not the trend, and she sort of like set the mood, and she started her own sort of trend, and now everyone wants to follow what she does, and that is massively inspiring as an artist.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people out with talent, but there's not a lot of people who have eras or movements behind them. That's very tough. That's very true. So here's our last question. Before you ask this question, we'd like to thank Melyz, coming all the way from France by way of Switzerland to Heritage Hip Hop.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, no doubt. But before I ask you this question, I want to say you are a gift. The Most High did not make your light to dim. Shine brightly and inspire. Don't ever hide who you are or your feelings, because in there you will cheat yourself from the blessings that He has laid out for you. That's all I wanted to tell you, okay?
Thank you.
So the last question is, you said that you wanted to just give positive vibes and to inspire the next generation behind you. Unfortunately, Melyz, there's going to be a day when we're all going to die. Unfortunately, there is.
Mm-hmm.
And this question is the most important question I ask in all my first artist interviews is, when you die, the world's going to be sad. It's going to miss a very, very great person. But you have a digital footprint. You have a music footprint. More people know you are alive than the people that's in your specific area right now, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So in understanding that, my question is, in the year 4000, when the time capsules open up and somebody finds your music, you're going to be introduced to a whole nother generation of people. The last question is, what is the legacy that you leave behind that made the world better because you did music?
Wow, that's really deep. I I guess it would be for them to I don't know. That's a really tricky question. I'd still say people finding their self-worth, and finding their own power to do whatever they want to achieve. They would everything that their heart desires, that they find the power and the courage to actually chase that and make their dreams a reality. I think this is what I want people to take from not just my music, but like my whole mindset as an artist. I want to share that with people. And so if I can leave this in my music, and for other generations to come to actually feel that, then I'll be really happy to have achieved my goal as an artist.
And with that being said, everybody listening to Heritage Hip Hop right now, we have been treated to one of the new landmarking artists of the next generation. So the gift Heritage Hip Hop is, we're introducing people to their new favorite artists. So to everybody in advance, you're welcome, and make sure you support this great artist. Any last words?
Thank you so much for having me and for what you're doing for the music industry. You guys are amazing.
No problem. So to everybody out there, we say peace, and we out. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. And shout out to Melyz. She is so dope. It'll be a disservice to your ears to not listen to her music and open your mind to great music, period. This interview is not only brought to you by Heritage Hip Hop, but shout out to Faddy's Place, FADDYSPLACE on Instagram, our partners and our virtual assistant. If you're looking for a virtual assistant, please contact Faddy's Place online, and they'll help you with your social media presence and introduce you to other markets as well. This interview was all about not being the norm, being yourself, and being great. And in today's society, all over the world, greatness is being done out of the loss of so many people of color. So we like to say rest in peace to the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many others who have lost their lives that are known and unknown because of their ethnic background, color of their skin, and so on. Being black is not a crime. It is a blessing from the Most High, no matter what anybody says. And with that being said, we're going to close out our show by saying, on heritagehiphop.com and Heritage Hip Hop YouTube, we have our talk show, The Mic Council, which is a roundtable of MCs for the fans, by the fans, for MCs, by MCs, where we talk about America's current climate and hip hop's responsibility. Please tune into that episode and give some feedback and share it, because we want to heal the world and make it a better place. Shout out to Michael Jackson, R.I.P. For everybody out there listening, to support Heritage Hip Hop, you can go to www.heritagehiphop.com. We have our own playlist, our own website, and playlist number 4 is coming soon, and you're going to hear some of these great artists that we interview on it. Also, we ask for you to support us by going to www.storefrontier.com and buying some apparel. Shows Heritage Hip Hop some love by getting a t-shirt or something to wear. All money that you spend goes to the platform to make it bigger, better, and more representative of you. We'd like to give a shout out to our partners, Fatty's Place, Wildfire Marketing, ran by prolific MC Fire Jaws, who helps us with promotion, placement, and marketing. Diamonds Entertainment LLC, which gives us the other side of hip hop, which is the gentleman side of dressing and sports. Other sides of the hip hop culture besides music. The Big A Show, which I am the co-host of, which you can see on YouTube at AHDAYAR. That's IDR on YouTube. And once again, this program is brought to you by Transparent Credit Repair, the superheroes of the credit repair and financial literacy world. Make sure if you're looking to repair your credit, you go to www.transparentcreditrepair.com and you can call them at 862-250-5122 and tell them Heritage Hip Hop sent you. With that being said, COVID-19 is taking people out. And also be mindful of how you talk to people and what you say, because the power of the tongue is life and death. And you can talk your way into blessings, you can talk your way out of them as well. The world is better with you in it. Please stay alive and stay in it. With that being said, we say peace and we out.